All right, let's talk about Wassily Kandinsky. He was a true pioneer, a total game changer in the art world, who went on this incredible quest to create a whole new language for painting, a language that wasn't for the eyes, but for the soul.
I mean, think about that for a second. It's a pretty radical idea, right? Can a canvas filled with just colors and shapes, no people, no landscapes, nothing you can name, actually make you feel something profound? This was the one question that drove Kandinsky's entire life.
And this quote right here, this is the key to his whole universe. You see, Kandinsky didn't think of himself as a painter just copying the world. He saw the artist as a musician. Color was his instrument, and the human soul was the piano he was trying to play.
So first up, we've got to get into Kandinsky's core belief that real, powerful art had to go way beyond just what our eyeballs see. It had to connect with our inner world. For Kandinsky, painting a perfect tree or a super realistic portrait was honestly a bit of a distraction. He felt that this obsession with just copying the material world was holding art back from its true spiritual purpose. It was getting in the way of a much deeper kind of connection.
So how does a successful academic, a guy on the path to be a law professor, become one of the most radical artists of the 20th century? Well, let's dig into the story, because it's a pretty dramatic shift.
It's really an incredible story. Kandinsky was on the fast track. A secure, respectable career in academia was all laid out for him. But then, in 1896, he goes to an art exhibit and it completely changes his life. He sees one of Monet's haystack paintings and he's just blown away, not by the haystack, but by the sheer force of the color. And that little seed of an idea grew. So at age 30, he turns down a professorship and moves to Munich to basically start from scratch as an art student. Now, his training in Munich was super traditional. He was learning all the formal, academic stuff, but he kept finding himself drawn to the rebels. In 1906, he saw the work of the French Fauvists, artists who were using these wild, raw, almost screaming colors. Their whole thing was pure emotion through color, and that really resonated with where his own head was at. And even in his early paintings, you can see this revolutionary spirit bubbling up. This image of a horse and rider shows up again and again. For Kandinsky, this wasn't just the picture of a guy on a horse. Oh no, it was a symbol of his personal crusade. It was him charging against the old, stuffy rules of art, riding towards a brand new spiritual future. This whole revolutionary thing wasn't just about a new style. Kandinsky was trying to do something much bigger. He was literally trying to invent a new language for art, a kind of visual music. And then things started moving really, really fast. In 1909, he helped start a new artists group just to break away from the old guard. By 1911, he publishes his hugely influential book, Concerning the Spiritual in Art, which laid out all his wild theories. And in that same year, he forms the Blue Rider Group, getting together with other artists who were all about free expression and this new idea of abstraction. The guy was busy. All this creative energy led to this one single moment of pure, mind-blowing epiphany. The story goes, one evening, he's walking back into his studio as the sun is going down, and he's just stopped in his tracks by a painting on his easel. He would later say it was indescribably beautiful, that it had this inner glow. But the weird thing was, he couldn't tell what it was a picture of. All he could see were forms and colors, and he said its content was incomprehensible. So he gets a little closer, trying to figure out this mystery, and he realizes it was one of his own paintings. It had just been left on the easel, standing on its side. In that instant, it all clicked. The object didn't matter. In fact, the painting was more powerful because the object was gone. That was it. That was the breakthrough. It was all the proof he needed. Objects actually got in the way. From that moment on, he had the green light, the confidence to chase after this pure art of color and form, to create a visual symphony for the soul. Okay, so if you're going to invent a totally new language, you need a vocabulary, you need some grammar. So next, let's look at how Kandinsky actually developed a system for his visual music, giving specific meanings to different colors and shapes. And he got incredibly specific with this new vocabulary. For him, yellow felt warm and earthly, kind of aggressive, and he connected it with the sharp, dynamic triangle. Blue was its total spiritual opposite, heavenly, peaceful, something that pulls you in. He linked that to the calm, infinite purple. And red? For him, red was inner struggle, a powerful, grounded force, just like a stable square. And you can totally see him using this theory in his work. In a piece like Pastoral, the canvas is flooded with that happy, positive yellow. You feel the sunny day, even if the figures are all blurry. But then, just 2 years later, in Black Lines, he's gone all in. The objects are gone. He uses this vibrant mix of colors to create the background music, and then these jagged black lines slash across it, creating this feeling of energy and movement. The feeling is stronger than ever.
So why does any of this matter to us now? Why are we talking about a Russian artist's quest from over 100 years ago? Well, in this last part, let's connect Kandinsky's vision to the world we're living in right now. I mean, just think about our lives today. We are absolutely bombarded with images. Our phones, TV, ads, it's nonstop. You could call it pictorial fatigue. We're always trying to label and categorize everything we see. Kandinsky's art offers a radical escape from that. It's a sanctuary, a space where you don't have to name anything. You just have to feel. His paintings start a conversation that's purely emotional. It's not about what something is or where it is. It's about an experience. You know, you could almost think of his work as a kind of meditation app for the soul, giving us a little break from all the visual noise of modern life. But Kandinsky knew you couldn't be a passive observer. He actually warned that if you come to his work with cold eyes and an indifferent mind, just looking for something to recognize, then the hungry souls go hungry away. His art asks something of us. It asks us not just to look, but to listen with our eyes. And that really brings us to the final thought. Kandinsky proved you could paint feelings, joy, anxiety, peace, using only color and line. So the question he kind of leaves for us is this. If you had to paint a feeling, your own feeling, right here, right now, without a single recognizable object, what would it look like? What colors would you use? What kinds of shapes would you make?